Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. This morning, I'm going to show you how this is a thinking man's game. So yesterday, I took my Castle Sidewinder Micro 2. I took the shrink wrap off, and I painted it all up with conformal coating, and then I put another layer of shrink wrap on, and I'm painting it with liquid electrical tape. And I'm ready for the second coat. It's been flowing in there, and this stuff's harmless to electronics, so it can't hurt. And even if it does, it's not like a $300 speed control. I'm thinking about power systems on this. And I'm thinking about building a gearbox for it just because I can. Not because I should, but because I can. And then I talked to you about this one. And MHZ also makes a little monohull in this same size category called the Gecko. And it has this same power system. Now this was the original MHZ hardware. When you bought this boat, it came with the coupler protector, the stuffing tube, the motor mount, the strut and strut bracket, and the rudder already installed. You know, that was part of the deal. When you bought it, you got all this. And so it was a cool little boat. You know, it ran real good. Here's the problem. With this little Mystery 3000, and we used to run them on 6 AR500 nickel metal hydrides, or those were NICADs, the AR500s. I think we ran them on 600 nickel metal hydrides too. But anyway, this was the setup, and where they put the motor, it was so far forward that you had to move the battery back to make it work, so the battery went back here. My plan for this one, I was originally thinking these 1000s because they would fit in there, but while they're not that heavy, they're heavy. And this is going to be a 15 to 18 amp boat. In fact, I'll get into that later. I don't need all this capacity. I may go down to 750s down here just to shave a little weight. So, talking about how many amps and such, this motor probably ran on 15 to 20 amps. You know, it has the ubiquitous 30 amp speed control buried in there somewhere. And this was enough power, even with the nickel metal hydride cells. That was enough power to This one's flatter on the top. Oh, it might have been, I think it's sagging under age. Oh, well. Anyway, I could blow that thing off the water with just that power supply. Now, where was I? I was 15 to 20 amps on the equivalent of 2S, maybe 7.4 volts. So 7 times 20 is 140 watts. Will blow these things off the water. These were originally designed for a speed 400 motor, which is a 75 watt motor. So this doubled the power. and made it a little, it was right on the edge. It didn't blow off all the time. You'd have to be going into the wind kind of thing. But it was right at the edge of socially acceptable. So I'm thinking about this boat, and I'm thinking about this boat, and I want to build this one lighter than this one. And already I think I've got a heavier layup than this. So I'm looking at the lightest power system I can get. And the more I think about it, the more I want to go to a small motor, a little tiny motor of ridiculously high kV that'll turn 8,000 RPM whilst drawing 18 amps. And so I'm thinking a really tiny motor drawing about 18 amps. Now, this one was not water cooled. This one won't be water cooled either. And what I will do is I'll adjust motor temperature with gears. I'll pick a prop, and it very well may be this one prop I showed you, this one right here. Although I do like the idea of this little plastic prop too. This might be a fairly decent prop. We shall see. So one of these two props will hook up with a little tiny system and see if we can't make this thing fast enough to almost blow off the water, kind of like this. So I'm looking at about 100 to 150 watts. So that's what I'm thinking. An even smaller motor. I was originally thinking a 707 motor, but a 705 motor is 12, 13, 14 grams lighter. So there's 12, 13, 14 grams right there. So I may go with an even smaller motor, a higher gear ratio, and a stupid high kV, something in the 8,000 range. So there you go, boys and girls. Just thinking. There's no cutting, no gluing. We're just inventing things. We're not making stuff yet. So until next time, jet out.